Welcome to the video lecture on theory of computation. So in this video we will go through context-free grammar and context-free language, derivation tree, types of derivation tree, ambiguous context-free grammar, ambiguous to unambiguous context-free grammar, then inherent ambiguity. So let us first go through what exactly a context-free grammar is. So a grammar G. So you know that every grammar G consists of four tuples. One is Bn, another one is input alphabet, P set of production, S is the start symbol. So a grammar G is said to be context-free grammar if all its productions are of the following form. Either A gives to BC or A gives to A. So where A, B, C are variables and A is a terminal, and it also includes S gives to epsilon if S will not appear on the right hand side of the production. So the language which is accepted by the context-free grammar is called as context-free language. So we have already gone through these things. Then we have gone through the Chomsky classification of language. Next, what exactly a derivation tree is? So a derivation tree, it is also called as parse tree. So a derivation tree or parse tree for a context-free grammar G is a tree satisfying the following property. So let me first draw a derivation tree, then we will go through the properties. So let us consider a grammar G which is having the production S gives to A, B, and A gives to small b. So if I want to construct a tree ABB for the string ABB, then how will I construct a tree? So S gives to A, B. So A, B, and A gives to B. So A gives to B. So here you see, here I have drawn a derivation tree. So for this, I may write the productions like this. S gives to A, B. So in place of this A, I will use the production A gives to B so that I will get A, B, B. So for this set of production rules, for this set of derivations, this is the corresponding derivation tree. So a derivation tree or parse tree for a context grammar G is a tree satisfying the following properties. So what are the properties? Every vertex has a label. So here you see this is a vertex, this is a vertex, this is a vertex, this is a vertex, this is again a vertex. So all the vertices are having a label which is either a variable. So here you see the variables are S and A, and the terminal symbols are small a, small b. The root has the label S. So always the root node will contain the start symbol S. The internal vertices has variable as its label. So here you see, here there is one internal vertex, that is A. So you see capital A is a variable. The leaf nodes has terminals as its label. Here you see this is a leaf node, so it is a terminal. This is a leaf node, it is a terminal. This is a leaf node, it is a terminal. So this is all about the derivation tree. So the yield of a derivation tree is the concatenation of labels of the leaf nodes in left to right ordering. So in the previous example here you see, if I will find the yield of this derivation tree, then I will go through only the leaf nodes from left to right ordering. So from the left to right ordering, if I will go, what are the leaf nodes? So first I will get A, then I will get B, then I will get B. So this is called as yield of the derivation tree. The derivation tree does not specify the order in which we apply the productions. So here you see there are, in this example, there are two productions. So here first I have applied S gives to AAB, then I have applied A gives to B. But if there might be some other productions, while deriving the derivation tree, there is no specific rule to which production you have to apply first. You can use the productions at any order. So the same derivation tree can be induced several derivations. Okay, we will go through this one. So now let us go through types of derivation tree. So there are basically three types of derivations. One is leftmost derivation, another one is rightmost derivation, another one is mixed derivation. So let us consider a grammar G whose productions are this. So E gives to E plus E gives to E star E, and E gives to ID. So we want to derive the string W equal to ID plus ID star ID. So how we will derive? If we will go for the leftmost derivation, what we will do? We will start from the symbol E. Next, we will apply the productions only from the non-leaf nodes or only from the non-terminals which appear on the leftmost side. So here there is a single non-terminal which appears on the leftmost side. Then here E gives to E plus E. So here it will give you E plus E. So now we will apply as it is the leftmost derivation, we will first apply the derivation on the leftmost non-terminal. So here the leftmost non-terminal is this one. So here what do we want to get? We want to get ID plus ID star ID. So here we will apply E gives to ID. So I have got ID. So ID is a terminal. Now you see the leftmost, this one is over, plus is a terminal. I cannot apply any derivation over here. E is a non-terminal. Now here I can apply a derivation. So here I want to get ID plus ID star ID. So here I will apply E star E. Then on its left side, I will apply the derivation. So E gives to, so first I will apply this one, E gives to ID, then star star, then I will go for the right side one, E gives to ID. So here you see that this is the leftmost derivation for the target string W equal to ID plus ID star ID. For the same target string, I can do a rightmost derivation also. How? Let us go through this one. So E, as it is the starting symbol, it will be always as the root at the root node. Then E gives to E star E. So now I will go through the rightmost derivation. Rightmost derivation means first I will derive from the rightmost non-terminal. So here the rightmost non-terminal is this one. So here I will apply the production ID. Next, let us going through the rightmost side. So E is the non-terminal from where we have derived a terminal. Then star is a terminal. Next come to E. So here I will apply E plus E. Now first I will apply the derivation on the rightmost non-terminal, that is this one. So here I will do ID plus is a terminal. Next I will write this one. So you see in the leftmost derivation I have first applied the derivation or I have done the expansion on the leftmost non-terminal. Then after completion of leftmost non-terminal, I am going through the other leftmost non-terminal. Similarly, in the rightmost derivation, I will try to derive the target string from the rightmost non-terminal. So I will always do the expansion on the rightmost side. So if you will mix the left and rightmost derivation, then it will give you the mixed type of derivation. So what exactly a leftmost derivation is? A derivation A is the, let's say, start symbol. A gives to W is the target string. A gives to W. It's called leftmost derivation if we apply a production only to the leftmost variable at every step. So at every step, if we will apply the production on the leftmost variable, then it is called as leftmost derivation. Similarly, a derivation A gives to W is called rightmost derivation if we apply a production only on the rightmost variable at every step, then we will call it as rightmost derivation. So I have already explained you through this example what is leftmost derivation and what is rightmost derivation. From here, if you will find the yield, so you see yield is obtained from the left to right. So from here you will go, here you will go, here you will go, here you will go, here you will go. So what you will get? ID plus ID star ID, which is the target string. So now you go through this one. For the same derivation tree, so the same derivation tree can be induced several derivations. So here you see the same derivation string can be derived from multiple ways. Either it may be leftmost derivation, or it may be rightmost derivation, or it may be a mixed type. So now what is the ambiguous context-free grammar? A grammar is said to be ambiguous if the same string W can be derived in two or more different ways. So here you see in the previous example, here you see we have the same target string, we have the same grammar, but we have two different derivations. So if such a case exists, then that is called as ambiguous grammar. Let's go through it again. A grammar is said to be ambiguous if the same string W can be derived in two or more different ways. Alternatively, a grammar is said to be ambiguous if two or more derivation trees. So these trees, what I have drawn, these are called as derivation trees. So if two or more derivation trees can be drawn for generating the same string, so then it is called as a ambiguous context-free grammar. Next, let us test whether the following grammar is ambiguous or not. So let us consider a string W equal to ID plus ID star ID. So we have the grammar this. So what we will do? This one I have already done. E gives to E plus E, then from E, this one we can use the production ID. Here we can use E star E, and this one gives you ID, and this one gives you ID. So this is one derivation tree for generating ID plus ID star ID. So if we will generate another derivation tree which will generate the same string ID plus ID star ID, for example, E gives to E star E, and here you notice that you can apply the productions in any order. So here let me apply ID, and here let me apply E plus E, and here let me apply E gives to ID, here let me apply E gives to ID. So then such a grammar is called as ambiguous context-free grammar. Next, ambiguous to unambiguous. You see this grammar is ambiguous. S gives to AS, S gives to ASBS, S gives to epsilon. So the particular that the string AAB has two derivations or two parse trees. So I want to derive the string AAB. So what you can do, you can first apply S gives to AS, then this S gives to, so we want to apply, we want to get AAB. Okay, so then here let me apply AS B S, then let me apply S gives to epsilon, S gives to epsilon. So you see, so what you will get, what is the yield of this derivation tree? A, B, and rest of the things are epsilon. Epsilon means zero length string. So here you have got A, B. So now, can we have another derivation tree for the same target string by using the same grammar? Yes, let us go through this. S gives to A, S, B, S. So see, while deriving, you can apply any production in any order. Okay. So S gives to, so here you can apply S gives to A, S, A, S. Then in this S you can apply epsilon. In this S you can apply epsilon. So what is the yield of this tree? A, epsilon means zero length string, then B. So while computing the yield, you have to always traverse the leaf nodes from left to right ordering. So you will get A, B. So the same string can be derived in two different ways. So this grammar is called as ambiguous context-free grammar. So it is the leftmost derivation. No, here I haven't done any leftmost or rightmost derivation. You can do that one. Okay. So next, what is the unambiguous context-free grammar for this one? This is the unambiguous context-free grammar for this ambiguous grammar. So unambiguous means there will be exactly one derivation for a particular string which can be obtained by using the grammar of that language. So let us try to derive S gives to AAB. We want to derive the string AAB. So from S we will derive this one. So first we want to get a, so we will use this production. S gives to A, X, Y. Next from X we want to get a. So here we will apply A. From Y we want to get B. So here we will apply B. So there is no other derivation tree that can derive AAB by using this grammar. That's why this grammar is called as unambiguous grammar. So there is no particular algorithm that has been designed that will convert an ambiguous grammar to an unambiguous context-free grammar. So there are some rules that we will study later. Next, ambiguous to unambiguous grammar. So this one I have already done. W equal to ID plus ID star ID. E gives to E plus E. E gives to E star E. E gives to ID. But what is the corresponding unambiguous grammar of this one? E gives to E plus T. E gives to T. T gives to T star F. T gives to F. F gives to ID. I will tell you how will you derive this one. Okay. So if I want to derive this one ID plus ID star ID, so plus first we require, so first I will apply E gives to E plus T. So E plus T. Then E gives to T. So here I will apply E gives to T. Then T gives to what I want to get? ID star ID. So T gives to, here I will apply F. Then here I will apply F gives to ID. Next plus is plus. Next T. So here I want to get ID star ID. So first I will use this one. T gives to T star F. So T star F. So T gives to F. F gives to ID. And here F gives to ID. So you see, this grammar and this grammar both are equivalent, but this is ambiguous and this is unambiguous. And you see, by using this unambiguous grammar, we have got a single derivation tree for the target string W equal to ID plus ID star ID. So now let us go through inherent ambiguity. A context-free language L is said to be inherently ambiguous if all its grammars are ambiguous. It means in the previous example I have shown you one equivalent grammar of another grammar. So one grammar is ambiguous whereas the another equivalent grammar is unambiguous. So what is inherently ambiguity? Inherent ambiguity, a context-free language L, it's said to be inherently ambiguous if all its grammars, means all the equivalent grammar to that grammar, are ambiguous. So even one grammar of L is unambiguous, that is equivalent to the grammar, then L is an unambiguous language, or L is an unambiguous grammar. The corresponding language is an unambiguous language. So I hope all of you have understood this one.